And so I have a more clear picture of my parabola and what it's supposed to look like. Okay? Two things we've added, the focus and the LR. You have a question?
Yeah, where'd you have the,
I didn't, it's this imaginary line right here. The LR is a line segment. Okay? This is your vertex. This is your LR. And this is your focus, which is the middle of the LR. All right? So like I said here, the way the focus and the LR relate to each other is depending on where the focus lies. Because if your LR is this long, if your focus is right here, you got a fat parabola. If your focus is right here, the LR hasn't changed. Your parabola is getting thinner. If your if your focus is way up here, it's getting just skinnier and skinnier. Okay? So they go together. They're not two separate things. They go together. Somebody else had a question? Are you clear? You don't look it. You sure? Okay. All right. Let's look at one more. What's the problem with this one? It's not in the right form. Okay? So the first thing that you're going to do right now is you're going to put it in the right form. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. You forgot Parker. You want me to set it up and then like maybe you'll remember?
Take it a Y.
Yes.
When did it like a plus on the outside? Like whenever you have to multiply this one, when there's a number on the outside, that one changes to
Okay,
plus.
you're always going to set it up this way. Based on what you stick in that box, it may change it to a plus sign. If there was a negative number out here that we had to distribute in, then it might change that to a plus sign. But when you're setting up, always put minus. Okay? Don't overthink it. Just set it up the same way every time. What happened to the Y?
Yeah, right.
What you mean? It's still there. You talking about from this line to this line? From here to here? Did you figure it out? Okay. Okay. Did you get this? All right. I want you on your paper to identify the direction of opening. On your paper. Not out loud. And the vertex. We practiced this last week. Blake, are you taking notes and following along? Okay. Which direction does it open, Hurley? Opens to the right. What's the vertex, Caleb? No. Okay, look. The y coordinate of the vertex is in here with the y variable. Okay? Whatever variable is in here, that's the same coordinate that belongs with it. Because we've flipped this around, now our vertex has flipped around. -10, +4.
negative right there.
Right here?
Yeah,
Because the trinomial has a negative here. When I FOIL that back together, I'm going to be multiplying -4 times -4 to get positive 16, and then adding -4 and -4 to get -8. All right? If there's a minus sign somewhere in this trinomial, you have to have a minus sign somewhere. They don't just appear out of nowhere. All right. Now, without overthinking it, to find the focus, which variable are we going to adjust, x or y? X. This one. We are going to adjust our x coordinate of our vertex. What do we adjust it by? Plus 1/4a. Now, a in this case is 1. And what happens to the y coordinate? It stays the same. Okay? So that's -10 plus 1/4. What's -10 plus 1/4? -9 3/4. Okay, so here's our focus. Here's our vertex. Now, you know this thing's opening to the right. If your focus is on the wrong side of the vertex, then you know you did something wrong. Okay?
Wait, what?
You know this parabola opens to the right. We've already decided that. If our focus is on the left-hand side of our vertex, we're going in the wrong direction. So you figured your focus out wrong. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm going to have people who look at this and go, that's -10 and 1/4. No. Okay? All right. Now the next thing we need to figure out is our LR, which is the absolute value of 1/a, and a in this case was 1. Remember, our LR is a line segment that is centered around the axis of symmetry. And in this particular parabola, it's 1 unit long,
So just do half and half.
which means you're going half a unit in each direction. Okay? All right, so my vertex is -10, 4. My focus, we said, was at -9 3/4, which is like way, really, really close to this. And my LR is 1 unit long, which means I'm going to go half a unit up and half a unit down. All right. Now, this doesn't give me a whole lot of information for my parabola, does it? Sure doesn't. Can somebody tell me something else easy, just real quick, that we can look at the equation and find for this parabola? If it's opening left and right instead of a y-intercept, what if we look for an x-intercept? Now let me ask you something. Let's think this through. If it's an x-intercept, it's crossing the what? X-axis. So at every point on the x-axis, what's the value of y? 0. So if I want to find an x-intercept, I'm going to come back here and say, okay, when y is equal to 0, what is x?
-4.
No. X is 0 minus 4 squared minus 10. X is -4 squared, which is 16 minus 10. X is 6. When y is 0, x is 6, which means another point on this graph is at 6, 0. You remember when we first started doing parabolas? We said